And now it's time for Guerilla, a Roundup. They'll let you know what happened overnight when things transpire whilst you sleep. Right there in the loop you keep.
So hello from Perth, beautiful Perth morning. Today is the Friday following the test match. The test match should have finished 2 or 3 days ago. It actually finished almost a week ago. So it's been a bit strange. And this is a special edition of Guerilla Roundup, which is something of a retrospective to the test, but also looking at it from a different point of view. And then we'll look forward a bit to Brisbane and get some observations. So my special guest today is Harry Everett, who I'm pleased to say has been staying with me for the last week or so. Although I haven't seen a lot of him because he's been out and about enjoying what Perth has to offer. And Harry is, I describe him as a cricket tragic. I cannot say that I've ever come across anybody quite as obsessive as him when it comes to cricket. But he's a Somerset lad and proud of it. So I'll let you introduce yourself first of all. Hello, Harry.
Yes, hello. Thank you very much for having me. It's probably the most important thing. I hope I've not been too bad a housemate for the last week or so. But yeah, no, I'm loving my time out here. It's an incredible place. And yeah, from Somerset and Devon club and county cricket to seeing this and seeing grade cricket, and what have I seen? I've seen the WBBL, I've seen a very brief test match, and just seeing the love for cricket here has been incredible. I have been out to Australia before, but not spent this much time in Perth, and I'm just absolutely loving how much you guys love cricket and how seriously you take it. It's on the national TV, free terrestrial every day. It's in all the papers properly, rather than in England where it's a tiny bit hidden around all the football.
So for those who don't know you, Harry, just give us a bit of a background about yourself, your involvement with cricket.
Yeah, so I commentate on Somerset. It's probably my main job now. So yeah, privileged to commentate with Vic Marks, one of the best commentators across the world in how many recent years, I guess, and Pete Trigo, who I grew up watching, and 6 others alongside me, and Stephen Lamb, Pete Trigo, Sophie Luff, and Sam Dalling. So we have a great laugh on the live stream.
And Annie Chave in the box next to you.
Yeah, she's I know Annie well from journalism stuff and erratic cricket. She's often this close, but with a bit of glass between her, keeping us from the BBC box. So see Annie a lot. I play a lot of cricket, as much as I possibly can in the summer. I was a footballer as a kid, didn't get into cricket till quite late. Went to a village state school where cricket wasn't really a thing. No one in my family likes cricket. I've got no background in cricket whatsoever, so I was a late bloomer, which is probably why my cricket badgery, or nuffies as they call it out here, has lasted into my later years, because I was quite late into finding the game and taking it seriously and just love it and play it as much as I possibly can. I write for BBC Sport on the Can Championship live text, did the England West Indies live text a few years ago, do a few podcast bits I get asked on, do the Somerset League Awards.
I do hear you're scheduled to do some live commentary in Australia.
Yes, I've been asked to do, I think it's next Tuesday night, in the Peel Cup, a T20 floodlit competition. I was down watching a mate from my Yorkshire club when I was at uni. He was playing down there, and they commentate on the live stream down there. It's pretty cool.
I do have to say that since he's arrived in Perth, it's turned out that Harry has more friends in Perth than I do at the moment, because they've all come over for the cricket. So what's your itinerary at the moment, Harry?
Yeah, I've tried to be Aussie and be spontaneous about it, as you well know. I've been flexible and seeing how things go. But I'm going to fly out to Brisbane on Wednesday night, the overnight flight. Basically, I've got more mates in WA, spend more time here with you and the other people I know in Perth. Brisbane, not so many people. So I'll fly into Brisbane 7 a.m. on the morning of the afternoon test. Remember, it's a day-nighter, so even if I got it at 7, I'll be there for 11.
And then after Brisbane, you're heading to Adelaide?
Yes, I've got some relatives in Melbourne, and I'm not. If we lose 3-0, I probably won't stay for the Boxing Day test. So I'm going to pop into Melbourne for a week. There's still quite a big gap between test 2 and test 3. There's still 8 days.
Yes.
So I'm going to go to Melbourne on the way down to Adelaide, and then stay with a friend from the village back home who now lives out here in Adelaide.
It's hell, isn't it? It's hell. So let's talk a bit about the first test. I mean, there's been endless reportage of it and the shock of it all and so on. But I just wondered about it from the perspective of a mad keen English supporter, but who loves cricket more than he loves. Well, I don't know if that's true, but you're very much a cricket lover, so you enjoy the achievements. How was it sitting in the stadium for both days amongst English supporters, I presume, and experiencing it. How did you feel at the end of it? I saw a broadcast yesterday where, say, Gilly said, "I don't know how I feel about that test."
I saw that, yeah.
And I get that. How did you feel about it? What was the experience like for you?
Very frustrating, to be honest. I was worried when I came out here that this blinking Bazball was going to be to our detriment, really. I mean, you look at Australia effectively played with 9 men on day 2. Khawaja and Lyon. Lyon barely bowled. Khawaja didn't bat. They were both injured. I don't think Khawaja will play again. I don't think he should play again, but we can come on to that. And England had no injuries. Fully fit, best 11 McCullum and Stokes could pick from. And we got battered at the end of day 2. I never thought 200 was going to be enough runs. People saying, oh, it's been a low-scoring test. Both batting sides are poor, bowling's better. Maybe, but we bowled awfully. We set, especially in the second innings. We bowled quite well in the first innings, England.
I thought we bowled really well in the
first. But not for it's not, to win the test match. You can't just do it in one inning.
I understand that, but the England bowling in the first innings, if you could sustain that through the series, would be unstoppable.
But that's the problem. Wood's always injured. Archer's had so many injury issues. We've gone all out with those two. You can't see those two playing all 5 tests. Whereas Cummins, Hazelwood, and Stark, it's pretty rare. I can remember a test where Cummins and Hazelwood have been injured. England had that opportunity with 2 of the 3 big guns out, and then guess what? The 1 big gun left, 7th.
And that was the thing about Stark is that he's renowned for his swing bowling.
It wasn't
that bugger all swing at Perth.
It was a wobble ball, wasn't it? The cross seam. There's an interesting feature for Stuart Broad, who's been brilliant out here. Stuart Broad's been on everything, every telly channel, every podcast. He's flown to Melbourne and then to Sydney, which has got no cricket at the moment to do with the Ashes, but he's just in all these different TV shows.
I got to tell you, Stuart Broad, Australians love Stuart Broad
now,
because he comes back and he embraces the banter in a way that Australians really get into that sort of thing.
And they're saying Stuart Broad is a great bloke now. I've seen people are changing the t-shirt.
Is that right? Yeah. He's a lovely bloke, and he's also a very good commentator when he's not going like this.
Yes. Yes, definitely. That's gone viral, isn't it?
Yeah. So, what was the mood like around you in the stands amongst English supporters?
So, for context, I spent 2 days with 2 separate sort of English fans. So, quite good friends of Ed Middleton, who bowls leg spin for Gloucestershire. He's out here playing for Gosnells. So I spent day 1 sat with him and James Bracey, which was interesting that Bracey was playing in this test side, 4 years ago? He kept wicket and batted 7 against New Zealand for a couple of tests. And Ed Middleton's here playing for an Australian club. And I was sat with those 2 all day. And then we sat in the members for a little bit. So there were Australians around us, but not in the Barmy Army section, but there were English fans everywhere. So it was English fans up and about on day 1 massively. The Western Australian had been rinsing England all week. And then suddenly after day 1, big old U-turn, all in on Khawaja, who played golf, but no mention of Stark, who'd played the same golf competition the same day before the first test. One of them gets a 7th, the other one's 39 and then a back spasm, so got absolutely crucified for it, which I found entertaining. But I then day 2 sat with Dan Judgevic, who's a Northants commentator and a cricket YouTube content creator, friend of mine. And again, we were moving around, sitting in different spots to get different angles, different views. Sat near the Barmy Army, and that was a bit harder. More Aussies ripping into us, giving us stick. People who recognise us out here just coming in, giving us hell for basically not giving up. But it did feel like when they were 80 for 1.
Yeah.
Weatherald and Head obviously opened together for Adelaide Strikers for a while. At that stage, it just looked like England did give up. And when Stokes got hit 4-4-4, your talismanic captain, Travis Head, and 3 different shots in 3 different areas, just thought the writing's on the wall here. And that Khawaja's injury or golf, whatever you want to call it,
was a blessing in disguise.
Yes, that might set, if Travis Head opens and Webster or English can come in at 5 or 6, that could really help this Australian side, who then could have probably one of Cummins and Hazelwood back for the pink ball. Brendan Doggett wasn't bad. You'd have thought one of the big boys would come back for him. So it's all leading Australia's way, I'd say.
Well, we'll come on to that in a minute. In terms of your experience, obviously you would have ended day 2 just shell-shocked, right? And by the time you got home after going down to the pub as a non-drinker with some boozy mates, they must have been pretty pissed off. But
Yeah, actually, it was the blessing was the Women's Big Bash was on at the Wacker Saturday night. So that was a blessing. So a lot of, actually 10 different friends from England happened to have all gone without even communicating. We all went individually, and I was wandering around the Wacker, and it's like I was wandering around Taunton. Different people just bumping into it, and that was lovely to have that distraction. Tammy Bowen and Eccleston were playing as a slight English distraction. Somerset women leg spinner AJ Wellington was playing for the Strikers, so there was that distraction. It was a great game. It was a last ball, 1-run finish with the last wicket.
You couldn't have asked for better, yeah.
So that was actually the perfect distraction to see different cricket that I wasn't as emotionally invested in. And
did you enjoy seeing the Wacker?
Yeah, massively. The old scoreboard, the sun setting, fireworks over the river, walking over the bridge from Optus with all the fact information from the old legends. Loved it.
Brilliant. So you've been making the best of your time in Perth. What have you been up to in the days that you suddenly had free?
Yeah, so it's sad really. I had a couple of friends from Devon who literally flew out for 5 days. They flew in the day before the first test and flew out on what would be day 6. So they spent however much. One of them said, "Harry, can you try and use some of this $400 of cash? Because I didn't realise the Optus Stadium's cashless, and I'm going to spend it." It's been sad really how many people come out here for this test and they only got 2 days cricket. I mean, Rottnest Island's benefited, Fremantle, Cottesloe, all the bars and fooderies around have benefited, and I love the food trucks. I thought that was a great touch. Is it something Harvest? Oz Harvest?
Oz Harvest, yeah.
Yeah, recycled all the food that would have been used for day 3, 4, 5. Brilliant initiative. Because I was worried about that, all the food and drink. But I've been playing indoor cricket Wednesday night, which is pretty cool. So using my friend Ed at Gosnells, I've met a few of their lads. Went training with them last night. It's a great training. That's an incredible experience. How serious and professional. 4 sides they've got. And they all want to catch, bowl, bat, fitness, improve together. Their work ethic is superb. 5 volunteer coaches. I play for a club back home in the West of England Premier League, and I play in the first of 5 teams at that club. And we wouldn't have as many training. We wouldn't have any volunteer coaches, retired players trying to help. It's amazing how much we just want to give. It's not all about being paid out here. People want to help each other out. Yeah. I had some chap, the spin bowling coach. I didn't realise he was a spin bowling coach. I was just chatting away. And he said, "Oh, you're the palm, what do you bowl?" And I said, "Leg spin." He said, "Oh, come with me." Then off we go. And he got his cones out and for an hour was coaching me just like that. It's amazing just to have that one-to-one opportunity, which you don't have unless you go to a private school or get through the county age groups or pay a fortune. You don't get this opportunity.
It's a really interesting insight from my point of view to notice that we sort of take it for granted here, that cricket is ingrained in the summer and it's on free-to-air television and it's on pay TV and it's on 4 radio stations when the test matches are on. And, you know, in my youth, it's fair to say in England, it was part of the culture, but it seems to me that particularly since it's moved off free-to-air television, it's become, and the access to grounds has become much more restricted. It seems to be much less. So Australia's got a massive advantage in that regard, as well as the weather, of course.
Yeah, I mean, this club last night, Gosnells, 4 grass nets, an indoor school, an ITF they call it, an indoor training facility, with 4 really nice Astro sort of floor with 2 bowling machines, people side arming, all helping each other, like different grades. I wouldn't know who was first grade, who was second, who was third or fourth. They all mix in. Fielding coach was doing nick practice. I did 45 minutes of slip catching. People were there from 3 or 4 until 8 o'clock. I mean, it's dark at 7. Don't forget, there's no daylight saving out here. So what I find very different is in England, I would rarely train in the summer. I could play T20 friendlies. It might be pub stuff, retire on 25. It might be high-level cup comps. But I could play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Might rest Monday and Friday, and I could play Saturday, Sunday. Here they play once a week. They don't have many games rained off, which, you know, we didn't last summer because our summer was incredible. But they train 2 or 3 times a week and play once a week. Whereas back home, a lot of people don't train. They might play 2 or 3 times a week, or depends on work commitments. But out here is a big focus on getting better, improving all facets of your game, and I find that amazing. And then they go into the club rooms on a Thursday night. Every club out here seems to do Thursday night selection, which is then there might be fines, there might be dice rolls, there might be a bit of food, and then they do the man of the matches from the previous weekend, and they might have a talk, presentation, and then they will name the 11 for the following Saturday, which is 2 days' time. And then there's a big round of applause. So-and-so's come up from 3s to 2s after his 50 last week, or so-and-so's got his promotion. And then they go and have a team chat. I mean, you barely have a team chat in second team cricket back home, let alone thirds and fourths, and definitely not 2 days before. They're all sat in their tables having a team chat about their tactics for Saturday, and it's no wonder Australia's so much better at sport. They might have 30 million people. We've got 70 million.
Something like that. Yeah.
But they just take it more seriously. It's a more professional, and they want to be better, and I love that. Whereas back home, it's seen as we play cricket, we have a beer, we have a drink, it's casual.
So there's a key question in all this: are they having fun?
Yeah, and that's good point, very good point. They are. Well, last night there's banter flying everywhere, drop catch, and also if you drop a catch in a drill, it's sprint after the ball, throw it in. Whereas in England, it'd be a bit of a soul cross, roll over, chuck it underarm, whatever. They're laughing, they're taking the mick, but in a positive way, and there were smiles on all the faces, and I blooming loved it.
Brilliant. I'm really pleased that you've had a chance to see that from your perspective, because it opens my eyes too in terms of some of the stuff that's going on. So let's look a little bit forward. So today we're recording this on Friday. The Brisbane test starts in 6 days. It seems an amazingly long break. And I think England have actually scheduled some extra cricket training sessions rather than golf training.
2 days more than that, yeah.
But almost all the English team are missing out on the pink ball match against the Prime Minister's 11 in Canberra, which is interesting. I mean, yes, it's not going to be a wicket comparable to the Gabba, but it's pink ball, and just getting used to a pink ball under lights is important. They're going to be training with a pink ball under lights in Brisbane. I get that,
but a lot of them have never played a match.
Yeah, and competitive cricket is so different from just training.
Yeah,
so
totally agree.
It seems to me. I mean, there's a degree to which it's a bit of a snub too, because the Prime Minister's 11 match has been part of all touring teams for years now.
Yeah.
It started in the 50s and then got revived again in the 80s, I think. But it's one of the things you do. Like in England, you meet I was going to say meet the Queen. You meet the King now, and you're at Lords. You don't say, "Oh no, I'm not going to do that."
Well, I was going to ask you that as a question. Is that seen as Australians out here? I mean, the Prime Minister would, no offence, but he'd probably rather meet Ben Stokes, Joe Root, than James Rue and Asa Tribe.
Yeah, well, what generally happens is the Prime Minister will have a reception the night before for the whole touring party at the Prime Minister's official residence.
In Canberra?
Yeah, in Canberra, or it's been done in Sydney as well sometimes.
But the top guys aren't going.
No, they're not going.
That's a bit rude, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to get uptight about it because we understand what's going on. But it just sort of, there are certain contradictions in terms of the way England treats stuff.
Yeah.
And the traditions of cricket, I get that sometimes they're stodgy, but there's also a degree of respect inherent in it.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? And I've no doubt they've made sincere apologies to the Prime Minister and said, "Look,
I hope so.
This doesn't fit our training schedule," and so on. And it's obviously not a deliberate kick in the face to the country or anything. It's saying, "Okay, this is how we do it." But we come to Brisbane, and one of the things that struck me about Brisbane is there's, I think, a hubristic attitude from the Australians, well, actually from both presses generally, the assumption that because Australia has won all but one of the pink test ball matches it's played, and because Mitchell Starc has been so successful, that it's a lay-down affair for Australia to win. And I think that's a very dangerous assumption. I mean, there's a good chance that they'll win well, but given that English bowling attack, and given the capacity of them to create something on a pitch that's got some help in it, and given the fact that Australians batting, for all that Travis Head managed to cover up a lot of the failings, wasn't good in Perth. It really wasn't. I think there's a potential for England to actually come back and do quite well in the pink ball test. The other thing is there's a mythology around pink ball tests being really short. They're not necessarily. There's been drawn last year. The test match in Brisbane was drawn. It wasn't a pink ball match, I don't think, against India. But the Brisbane wicket can be relatively helpful towards batters. There was a Shield match at Brisbane last week under lights. So pink ball's going. First 2 days, there's something like, I think New South Wales, made 320 odd for 9 declared. Then Queensland batted and did very well, made something like 400 and something. And the rain then came. A massive storm came midway through day 3.
These hailstorms, these big.
Yeah, well, there was massive damage around the whole of the area. Anyhow, they got over an inch of rain in 45 minutes, right? But the thing about the Gabba is the drainage is amazing. Although the pictures showed underwater, they were back on the field an hour and a half after that rain. I can't think of another ground in the world where that happens.
Agreed.
But what happened is the conditions changed. And whereas before the rain, they lost 16 wickets for something like 650 runs, something like that. After the rain, the match was concluded. 16 wickets were lost for something like 200 runs. So all of a sudden, the conditions became a lot harder.
Yeah.
But up until then, under lights, the pink ball, there hadn't been any massive collapses. People have scored runs at a reasonable rate. So that can happen under lights, even with good bowlers bowling. So the assumption that we'll have another 2-day test, maybe we will. But I think there's too many assumptions being made, not enough credence given to the fact that England have some very good batters and some amazing bowlers. And if they can get through that stage of playing themselves into the conditions, and if they get the best of the toss as well, then they may be in a very strong position to win.
Yeah, I mean, England did get the best of toss at Perth. Remember, Ben Stokes won the toss. That was a big chat.
Yes.
A lot of people said, England might chase. At Perth, the Optus Stadium, they've only ever won test matches when the winner of the toss has batted.
Yes.
And Ben Stokes went with that in the end. There was a lot of talk that he was going to bowl just because that was what England do. But my only experience of Wollongong Gabba, to give it its full title, was the South Africa test match a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
22 wickets in a day, I think it was.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty mental.
I mean, that was a dreadful wicket.
Yeah. And they got criticised for that.
Deservedly so. That was...
We didn't expect that.
It was over in 2 days,
Yeah.
and it was a shit show.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say the same about the Perth wicket. The Perth wicket was
very good, yeah.
great. I mean,
Quite
it's
happy
just... Batters are not used to playing on fast wickets. And
England don't play themselves in. They didn't even bat 50 overs. There's a brilliant stat that I was fortunate also to be at the MCG when Cook got his double 100.
And he batted longer then than
the 2 innings.
The whole of the 2 innings here. I mean,
yeah, we Stuart Broad a lot at that time as well. He's 9 or 10 from the end of his career. But I remember the Shamar Joseph West Indies win with the pink ball.
Yes, yeah.
That was particularly impressive.
With a broken toe.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. But I still think England don't, like you said, England do not give themselves a chance to get themselves in. Harry Brooks got all the talent, but the application in his head, he'll still play a ridiculous shot and get himself out.
Yeah.
If you had a boycott mindset with a Harry Brooks talent, I mean, what a batter that would be. But I think the Aussies are more determined to grind it out when it's hard, whereas England will think, it's doing a bit, I'll just play a baseball shot, and if I get out, it doesn't matter because I played positively. And that's frustrating.
That's certainly a big part of it. One of the things that was noticeable in the first test is that the Australians learned from the first innings, from both bowling and batting. But in say, Boland, he didn't bowl well in the first innings. He was bowling at the stumps.
Came back well there.
And, of course, with that bounce, he was relatively easy to hit. He came back. He was aiming well outside the off stump, just letting England come to him.
Too full, we reckon, first innings, and England got to drive him down the ground a lot, didn't they?
Absolutely. And they obviously sat down and looked at it, strategized, and he bowled beautifully. He was the key in that second innings to do Australia getting England out. Along with England playing some silly shots. But, the capacity to analyse what's happening, learn, change strategy, doesn't seem to exist.
We're not flexible. And Brendan McCullum really frustrated me. I've had a lot of respect for McCullum. Loved him from back when I worked in New Zealand when I was 18 and watched so much New Zealand cricket towards the end of his career. And having him as coach, great, amazing. But he's frustrated me. Him and Stokes saying in their post-match interviews, we didn't go hard enough. Saying that, Travball, he showed that if you play aggressively and have a healthy strike rate, you get more runs. That really wound me up. Yeah. Because he was actually, 3 off 15 or something like that?
Well,
he didn't go ballistic at the start.
No, he didn't.
Got himself in.
He got himself in. I mean, everybody will tell you, Perth, whether it's the Wacker or at the stadium, you need to spend the first 20 to 30 balls getting accustomed to the bounce, the light, and doing it. And the other thing is that England gave him a lot of the runs by just going off length really early.
I think England give up on a nick him off usual old school method of getting dismissals and go to a ridiculous short ball plan far too early.
Yeah.
And if you actually look at the CricViz stats, I used to work for CricViz a while ago, so I'm sort of aware of the mechanisms and the query tools. And if you look at where England bowled, so many of the deliveries weren't hit the stumps, and so many of them were almost free hits for Travis Head.
Yeah.
Sure, we know he's good at the forehand smash or the uppercut. Even Marnus Labuschagne was smashing it through mid-on in the air off the back foot.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked really positive. I mean, you're saying your lads are out of form, but I feel like Marnus out of form was a few months back now. He's come into the Shield in serious
I think this was actually, he was sort of riding on Head's coattails.
Yeah.
And although he didn't do well in the first innings, this really will have given him some confidence.
And positive, the most aggressive Marnus. I know the game was nearly done, but even taking root down the ground 4 and 6 to win the game, I know it's easy to do when you've got 8 wickets in hand, but that's not the Marnus we remember. We remember Marnus as the sort of take his time. He might want the red ink, but he looked really positive. And I like Jake Weatherald. He got an absolute beauty from Jofra Archer.
Yes, he did.
Fair enough. First 2 balls, did them all ends up. Fair enough. But Jofra was on one at the start. His first over back after months out. So Jofra was always going to steam in then.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing about Archer and the other England fast bowlers, he was down about 10 kilometres.
Yeah, 129, I think. In the second innings.
Now, I know that they didn't get a long break because England didn't bat for that long, but he didn't bowl that much in the first innings.
3 over spells quite often.
So I would have thought he could come back and regenerate that. There wasn't any spark. Stokes just wasn't himself in that set.
That's why, I don't think the England bowling attack's that strong. People keep saying how amazing it is, but it might be strong for 3 over spells, little burst. But a Matt Potts or Sam Cook's not even in the squad. Someone like that might be able to bowl you 8 overs of decent, consistent areas. But Mark Wood and Jofra Archer can't do that. Stokes will fight lion-hearted, but his body's had so many injuries. There isn't really... Gus Atkinson maybe is your younger one who's a bit more reliable, but he's still young, inexperienced and trying to bowl quick. And that worries me. They're not like a Cummins, a Hazelwood, a Boland who will just hit that area.
Yeah. Now, here's a really important question for Brisbane. Have you managed to secure a ticket for day 1 yet?
No, I haven't actually.
So if there's anybody watching this who knows how Harry can get a ticket for day 1,
or 2 or 3,
get in touch with me. What's your email address?
Harry W. Everrett at hotmail.com.
Or me, messages@gmail.com. Let us know, because Harry is going to be desperate for a ticket. I'm sure he'll somehow find a way to get one, because he's been very successful so far.
I thought there'd be some angry, sucking poms who just want to go home or kicking off or don't want to go and watch.
Or there'll be people who just can't make it on the day because they're sick and whatever it is. But anyhow, be aware, Harry's after a ticket for Brisbane.
Or message us on social media if you see any links, whatever. I keep checking Ticket Tech and Ticketmaster, but now they're still sold out apparently.
Yeah, it may be that on the day they release some sort of limited access seats or something like that. So thank you very much for this, Harry. I've really enjoyed chatting with you. We might do something by Zoom after the second test as a retrospective, if you're not too depressed. But I'm in a dilemma, because I don't want to get to the Boxing Day test with a series already decided.
I think it will.
But I don't want England to win either. So, it's a real...
I said for a while, I think England will lose the first 3. If they don't win at Perth, they lose the first 3. I could see England winning the last 2 dead rubbers, because I just feel like that's the weird Bazball thing when the pressure's off. They might just go bang, bang, bang and play some ridiculous cricket. But so many people have said you've got to win at Perth. And with Lyon either being fit or picking someone who's fully fit, Khawaja potentially being dropped, and Cummins and Hazelwood at some point going to come back in. That for me is 4 ridiculously strong cricketers or replacements that are going to come into a side, and England can't really improve their side. I mean, Zach Crawley probably should go, but they will give him more tests because they groomed him for this series. They've been working on him for hitting the ball on the up in hard conditions out here. And I know Stark's catch was amazing in the second innings, but it was a poor shot.
It was a poor shot, That was an extraordinary catch. The best caught bowl I've seen.
And he learned from the previous Ashes where he ran the ball on the ground. He turned his wrist perfectly.
So thank you very much, Harry. I really hope you enjoy the rest of your trip. Not necessarily the extent of England winning, but you've made the best of being here. I think if you had the chance, you'd probably move to Australia now.
2 summers I'd definitely do if I could. Summer then summer.
It's the weather. But thank you very much, and safe travels.
Thanks for having me, literally.
There's the bear in there, and Hendo as well. There are jingles they play, and swear words to yell. But come along and join the fun at Guerilla Cricket.